Hey guys, it's me Charlie. I'm just doing a video today on some of my button quails that are now grown, and some of these have already started laying eggs, and a few of these are boys and a few of these are girls, and I just wanted to go over the types that I have. So I don't know if you guys can see this clearly. Let's see. So here on the very far right I have a white button quail. White button quails are not an easy bird to sex, and the reason why is because the male and the female look exactly alike. The difference that I found with my button quails that are pure white is the males are smaller and the females are bigger. And when you grab a female or male, you can tell the difference because if it's too thick and fat, that's the female. If it's kind of small and petite, that's the male. You also want to feel the abdomen area. Right around 6 to 7 weeks, they start to kind of feel thick down there. It's possibly due to them being mature enough to start to lay an egg, and it might be an egg. Also, they need enough room in there to carry the eggs, so of course they have a bigger area down below the abdomen area. Pure white button quails, male and female, look exactly 100% alike. I have not been able to tell the difference by looking at their plumage, by looking at their vent area or their sides, and so they look exactly alike. So let me go ahead and grab a pure white, the only female that I have here. So let me do the best I can with one hand. Now these guys aren't too bad. They are a little bit skittish. Let's see. Alright. So I'll close the door. Okay, so as you can see with this female here, she fits in my hand. She's a big girl. She doesn't have a dark bottom. She does have a little bit of urine and poop mixed together that came out. Females tend to also poop when you go to hold them. And you see how swollen she is right there? So she probably has an egg, and she might be laying the egg soon. On their face, you don't see any white bib, and you don't see any designs. There's no particular feather colors on the wings or on the sides, and they're just a little bit more plump. So pure white button quails look exactly alike. Another way you can tell a male button quail is if you separate them. You take an empty cage, put food and water in there, and during that time you want to put a little bit of vitamins and put some chopped up spinach, and the male will start to growl and make that long growling sound. That's a male button quail. Females don't make that sound. They just kind of make little cheeping sounds, and sometimes they'll let out a little bit of a button quail like squawk. Now my next button quail is a cinnamon red-breasted, and this is a male, and he tends to have a lot of red on his body. Look at his underpart. I mean, he is solid red. Booty area, nice and red. He's much smaller. I also band him with the blue band to show that he's a male. That's how I band him. With one hand, let me turn him around. On his face, he has his bib. This one has a little bit of a white on top of his head too. So he's got like a little pied going on. His feathers, he actually carries the red in his wings. A little bit of a grayish, beigey color in his wings. And on the side of his body, he's got red. And his red goes all the way up to the top. So when he's walking around prancing, he is very red. The top of his body, he's got a nice cinnamon color going on. And he's really small. And when he was a chick, I was able to sex him because all these red feathers were coming through his rectum area and on his belly area. And he's little. And now this little male will start making that long growling sound. Now let's take a look at the wild type red-breasted. Now they look exactly alike. The difference with them is their red is not as much, and they do have that blue. And ooh, he's slippery. He's small too. So, oops. So now you see on here, he has red too underneath, and he's got a lot of blue, I should say, on his tummy and on his sides. And his back has the wild colored brown. And on his face, whoo. Okay, you guys got a good view of my dishwasher. Alright, and there's his face. Has a nice little beard. He hasn't been banned because he's not one that I was planning on keeping, but I do have him paired up with some other females. And he's my little boy. So this is a male button quail, and he also crows. Okay, so let me put him in there. Alright, now let's do a Darth Vader. Now, these have different names. I like calling them Darth Vaders because they're easy to remember. And they kind of have a Darth Vader thing going on. Hold on one second. I went and grabbed the quail with the wrong hand. Okay, so let me see how I can switch here. Okay, I'm back, even though this is a crazy next scene. Okay, so this is a Darth Vader male. His face, he has a black beard. And he also has the red on his bottom and on his sides. And he has the brown coloring and the dark gray on his back with a charcoal color. And I'm not sure if he's banned. Nope, he's not banned, so he wasn't one I was planning on keeping. But I decided to keep all my Darth Vaders. And so they're really sweet little guys. He also crows. Alright, so I'm going to put you guys on my tripod so we can get a little bit more detail. So let me put you on here. Alright, so let's see what we could do. Alright, so my next one is going to be a tuxedo pied, silver tuxedo pied. And with the silver tuxedo pied, on their backs here, he's got a tuxedo. It's a nice silvery gray. His wings are white. His head has got a gray. He's got a gray going all the way down his back. Let's see if we can do this. This is what they call a tuxedo pied. He's got some white on his bottom part, and it doesn't necessarily mean that they actually are all white underneath. Some of them can have some gray feathers in here, but he's kind of a very show quality silver or light gray tuxedo pied. He's a male. He's really small, and I've seen him mate with the females. His abdomen area is small. He's got like no room in there for eggs, so this is definitely a little boy. He's also really little, and you can't sex them with red colorings in their vent area because they don't have red feathers on their vent area. Hides don't show if they're male or female. You can't even see their little bibs. There have been a few people that said that they had some pieds with little bibs, but this little guy does not have a bib at all. So pieds are kind of hard to sex also. The best way to sex them is separate your pieds, put them in a different cage, and then from there, listen to hear for that growling sound. They make a long sound. Alright, so now there's a baby in here that I thought was going to be my silver. And I don't really know exactly what this is called. If anybody can tell me. I'm guessing it's like a... I don't know. It's kind of like a mutt to me, which is a terrible word, but it's like a mixed breed. It has... When it was a baby, it was completely gray. Then the feathers started to come through, and it started to have, like, all the lacing was red. As it got older, it has like this charcoal gray red with lacing of red, charcoal gray color with a red lacing all the way throughout the body. And it was confusing when it was a baby because I checked the vent area and it wasn't red, but there were red feathers coming out at the end. There wasn't any red feathers on the bottom part either. It was all kind of just one color. So I started to assume that this is a female, and it ended up being a female. The other thing is, this little girl does not have a bib, so I didn't see, I didn't think it was going to be a male. And she's kind of pretty, and I don't really know what they call this one, but I'm thinking like a, I don't know, like a red-breasted silver. I'm not sure, because I've seen them before, and they don't look nothing like this, so it's an interesting color. So I got her paired up with my red-breasted male, the very first one you saw in here. Now I have one more female to show you guys, and she's an interesting color. I'm thinking she's a blue face. I really don't know. She has these beautiful markings on her back, and they're all like, if you've guys seen, I think they call them wyandottes, golden wyandottes. They have black feathers with gold trim, and she has that throughout her entire body. And underneath her, she also has the same colored feathers. She has no red. Oh, she's hyper. I know, I know. She has no red on her rectum area. Now, she's a little bit small down here, so I'm thinking she's young. The other possible thing is I think that this one has some time, but I really believe it's a female. But if it, it's kind of small, but a little bit thick around here. She's not probably mature enough to have eggs yet, but I have a feeling that this is a girl. No beard, even though there's a white feather here. It's like a pied feather. And I don't see any other markings. So this little girl, she's very pretty to me, and I have her paired up also with my very first male that I showed you guys on here. So I'm going to do another video. I'm going to do a part 3. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Hey guys, it's me, Charlie. Alright, so what I want to talk about next are the development of the eggs with button quails or any type of eggs. And I wanted to give you guys an example of how important it is to keep the humidity levels up while you're incubating your eggs. So what happens is as you guys saw in the last video, you have your mature button quails. They start to lay their eggs. Well, let me give you a quick example. This is a Coturnix quail egg. I have some Tibetans and some Coturnix, but only my Coturnix are laying the eggs, which are the Italian golden females. And my Tibetans haven't yet, so I'll show you guys that one a little bit later. These are all button quail eggs, all different colors. Depending on what you feed them, they come out different colors. If you have blue gravel or blue grit and oyster shell powder mixed together, some of these will have a little bit of blue on there. I don't know if you guys can see that on here, but there's a little blue on there. And these eggs here, when you get your eggs from the females, or you order your eggs from someone, or you buy some eggs from someone, I wanted to show you guys something really important. So let's first start with the female. She is ready to have eggs. She mates with the male. She develops the eggs in her body. And as she's developing the eggs, they go through these different stages. But the very last stage is where the eggs, they get their calcium cover, and then they come out hard like this with their pretty little patterns. And when they come out, they have a period up to 7 days until she needs to incubate them. After 7 days, they'll die off. 5 days is a good idea to remember to keep these eggs out. Like, you can collect these eggs and you can put them somewhere, and every day just kind of turn them somehow just turn them a little bit. And then when you're ready to hatch out all of the button quails at the same time, take all of your eggs and incubate them all at the same time, so they'll hatch all around the same time. Now here's a interesting little thing that happened. This egg here came out with no shell. It's completely soft. It has no shell. You can practically see the yolk in there, and it's all just the plastic part. It's kind of rubbery. Feels like a little rubber ball. Now this one here, you guys can't really tell, but it is dehydrating. And she laid this egg tonight, and it had no shell. Thank God she wasn't egg bound and didn't get stuck. But it just popped out of her, and she didn't have enough calcium, obviously. So I'm not sure what happened. It might be because she's a first-time egg layer. This is her very first egg, and her body just didn't know what to do to absorb the calcium. Or maybe she didn't get enough calcium, even though they have cuttlebone and grit and gravel and oyster shell. And they also have calcium powder put onto their food. And they have a 24%, I think 22 or 24% game bird chicken food. And this is the result of it. But to give you guys proof of the importance of the humidity in your incubator, if you get an egg like this, it's going to be nice and plump. If you let it sit out for about 6 to 7 hours maybe, or even, half a day, go back to it. It's going to be wrinkly, and it's going to be dry. Take a glass of water like this, put the egg inside the water, come back about an hour later. This egg is going to be completely solid and thick, and it's going to rehydrate itself with the water that's here. The water is actually going to go into the egg and naturally absorb, and then it's going to be nice and plump. Take it back out, set it on the counter, investigate it, play with it. It's going to be a little hard ball, and let it sit out for about an hour or two and come back to it, and you're going to notice that the egg dehydrated again. That just shows you how eggs do need moisture in order to be alive. Otherwise, they're going to die. That's one of the reasons why people will order eggs and they'll say, well, I didn't do really well. I didn't hatch any eggs out. They didn't hatch. Why didn't your eggs hatch? They're not fertile. But it's not that. It's just that you guys have to make sure the humidity levels are between 50 and 60% or even up to 65% as it's being incubated. And towards the end, when they're about to hatch, to raise up the humidity temperature so that way this shell, they can crack out of it. So I even raise my humidity up to 70% so that way they have a way to hatch out. Plus I also raise the heat from 99 to even 100, 101. But I make sure that the fan is in there constantly running so that way they don't, get overheated. So that high moisture and that high temperature will help the baby hatch out and dry very quickly. Plus if you have a fan in there, it helps a lot. So that's the importance of having moisture in your incubator, either by spraying it or putting a sponge in there or adding a container of water at the bottom extra, or if you have one of those hooverbators like I do, you just kind of pour the water at the very bottom of the tray, and you do this every 2 to 3 days. Now, you're only going to be doing that for up to 2 weeks, every 3 days. You're pouring extra water in there by checking the humidity. It'll give you a percentage, and if it's down like 45, 50, you want to keep on keeping that moisture up. But every other day I tend to check my incubator. So these are Coturnic eggs, and I get these Coturnic eggs from my Italian Golden Coturnics. And one day I changed her diet completely, and I gave her an interesting diet. I can't remember the details, but she gave me this beautiful, interesting egg. Doesn't that look like kind of like an Easter egg? A little dot at the end. You know what that is? That's actually, I gave her, now that I remember, some charcoal, and she ate a bunch of charcoal. And that used to be black. Now it's kind of faded a little bit, as you can see there. So I thought this egg was really interesting and cool. Now it's also rough, and it's not shiny like this. Look at the difference. There's no sheen to it. So I thought, wow, it's amazing how she can put a finish on these eggs at the very end. One day she also gave me a light colored egg. It's kind of a brownish color. So the button quails, I tend to know who lays eggs and where it comes from. When you raise chickens or button quails, you'll start to learn who lays eggs. The problem with that later is if their diet has a big variety of foods, their eggs can change color on you. But I do have, let me go back to the button quail eggs. These eggs right here, I can tell, I know who lays these eggs right here. I got 2 button quails from someone on Craigslist for free. And my light colored button quail, she's kind of a caramel colored button quail, and she's light wild color. She only lays this color no matter what her diet is. So I think that's really interesting. Now my other female that I got for free, which is her sister probably, she lays, well, not that one. She lays eggs that are a little bit darker, and she's not laying as much. I think she's much older. She's probably about 3 years old. These are the eggs that she lays, and you notice it took me longer to pick them because she's got some brothers and sisters that are new that have colored eggs that look similar to hers. But I can tell these are hers because they're all the same size. They're large. But I noticed that my new generation of button quails lay the similar color of egg, but as you can tell, I don't know if you guys can tell, but this egg's smaller and it's more rounder. So the new generation, they have their own color eggs. Now I'm going to have a harder time figuring out who lays what eggs now when I have this many button quails. So I won't really know, but I do have my favorites that I know, and so I know who lays what eggs. Like my Vaders. I have a female Vader, I know her eggs too. So, well, I'm going to do one more video on this egg here. You guys can't see the difference too well when I showed you how wrinkly it was, but it was actually kind of like a balloon that lost a lot of its air, and it's all wavy and wrinkly. But when I bring it back on the last part of this video, you guys will see it's going to be nice and rubbery. It'll probably even bounce, so I don't know. But I think it's really cool. My Chihuahua here, she loves eating them. She just, if you give her one of these eggs, she'll eat them. The eggshell and all, but I try not to do that. It's kind of gross. Alright, so you guys saw my button quills, my different ones that I got. My Vaders, my white ones, my Pieds. I have another Pied. She's a cinnamon tuxedo Pied, and she's paired up with that little silver male. You guys saw my cinnamon red-breasted. They have a lot of red on them. And you saw my original wild type red-breasted. They don't have as much of the blue. They have the red on there. and a few of my little mixes that I have. So I do sell my eggs on eBay, and I do sell them on here. So if anybody's interested in buying fertile eggs, all of these are refrigerated, so none of these are fertile anymore. They were fertile, but you can't hatch these out. But contact me. I'll let you know the price. I do sell the eggs individually. So like my pure white button quails, they have a different price from my red-breasted. I don't really want to price it now because it could change in the future depending on how old this video is. But as of September 30th, 2011, I'm selling my red-breasted button quail eggs each at 75 cents each. So you can get as many as you want. And if they're available, I will go ahead and email you back and let you know what's available. You guys do pay the shipping and handling. I'll let you know what that price comes to. They do change, of course. So this is an example of what they cost in 2011. So hopefully I'm still doing this for many years. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching. Hey guys, it's me, Charlie. Alright, so this is the last part on the shell, the egg without the shell. And let me go ahead and dump this out. And I wanted to show you guys how this egg has become very firm. Look how firm this is. You guys can't really tell, but it's like, see? It's bouncy. Kind of like, ooh, where'd it go? Kind of like a little bouncy toy. And this egg, what's neat about it is I can keep rehydrating this egg. This is my second time now. Before I made the video, I did say that the egg was just laid, but it wasn't just laid. It was like hours old, and probably about 6 hours old. And I collected it, I would say this morning, because one of my females, the new button quail babies that are starting to lay eggs, those little ones that you guys seen in the video before, she just started laying these eggs at 6 or 7 weeks old. And I found this and I thought, oh my god, who laid this? It's got no shell. It's just, you know, look at, you can't even crack it. It's almost like as if you put vinegar on an egg. It takes the shell away and it's just this rubbery part left over. So it was very wrinkly. I mean, there was no way this was going to bounce like it does here. Gosh, I keep losing it. It was not going to bounce like that. It was just going to go bloop and stay down. And I rehydrated it in water for about an hour, came back, and here's the result. If you let this sit again for about 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, it's going to get wrinkly and start to dehydrate. And this shows the importance of how humidity is really important while incubating your eggs. No matter what kind of eggs they are. It could be chicken eggs, turkey eggs, goose eggs, quail eggs, pheasant, guineas, any type of animal that lays eggs. They need moisture in order to have life. They need heat, and they need to be consistent. So I would love to crack this open and show you guys that really is an egg. I wonder if I should. You know what? Let me go ahead and do it. I'm not going to keep this egg for anything else. So let me grab a little dish. Let's see. I want to give you a clear dish. There we go. Here's a clear dish. And clear this water off the counter. Okay. So, let me pinch it. Ew, it squirted me. There's the cute little egg. And here's the skin. This is the part of the egg that when you crack your eggs open, you have that little bit of skin. And that is really rubbery. And here's the water, and along the side is the little clear jelly, and in the middle is the yolk. So here's you guys' breakfast. You're going to need about 50 of these to complete an omelet. Alright, so if anybody has any questions, any comments, don't forget to rate the video, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching, guys.